No, I think about him every day. He in his 20s, he had the drug problems, and God, I put him in rehab so many times, and every time he'd be doing great, and then it would just fall back. You have 100 things go through your mind. There was nothing worse than losing a kid.
Rick Harrison has long been a familiar face to fans of reality television, charming millions with his shrewd business sense and deep knowledge of history. Since Pawn Stars premiered in 2009, viewers have grown to know the Harrison family. However, behind the success of the world-famous gold and silver pawn shop in Las Vegas, Rick's personal story is full of heartbreaking struggles. From devastating family losses to personal and professional challenges, his journey has been anything but smooth. Join us as we tell you the real-life story of Rick Harrison from Pawn Stars. Rick might be living a sweet life today, but that wasn't always the case. His early life wasn't exactly great. Born on the 22nd of March 1965 in Lexington, North Carolina, Rick was diagnosed with epilepsy at the age of 8. His condition significantly impacted his childhood, affecting his social life and education. Seizures caused frequent disruptions, leading to isolation from other children who didn't understand the disorder. The unpredictability of his condition also created challenges for his family. He was often bedridden for long periods, during which he developed a voracious appetite for reading. This experience cultivated his lifelong love for history and learning, which later became a central theme in Pawn Stars as he shared fascinating stories about the items brought into his shop. His condition lessened in severity as he grew older, though he still reflects on the profound effect it had on shaping his character. In interviews, Rick has used his story to raise awareness about epilepsy, aiming to break down misconceptions and reduce stigma. He shows himself as an example that people with epilepsy can lead successful lives with proper management and support. His public discussions have helped bring visibility to the disorder, emphasizing the need for understanding and better resources for those affected. Rick experienced a major tragedy early in life with the passing of his sister, Sherry. Due to his age, he didn't fully understand the loss his family had endured. Sherry was born in 1960, and she was the firstborn of Richard and Joanne Harrison. At that time, the medical knowledge and resources for treating congenital heart defects and other health issues associated with Down syndrome were far less advanced than today. Her condition presented significant health challenges from birth, and her fragile health made her highly susceptible to life-threatening complications. To provide the best health care for her, Richard re-enlisted in the Navy to secure medical benefits for Sherry. It was to ensure that she would receive the best treatments and support she needed. Rick was born nearly 4 years after Sherry, in 1963, and by the time he was old enough to form memories, his sister had already passed away. Sherry died in 1967 at the age of 6, a tragedy that left a deep void in the Harrison family. Rick has said little about his sister, but the effect of her loss was undeniable. He never had the chance to form a bond with Sherry, something he has pondered upon throughout his life. Although he was too young to remember her, Rick felt the grief that hung over his parents. In his later years, he came to understand how much the loss of Sherry affected his father, Richard, who had often spoken of her with great love and sorrow. For Rick, Sherry's death is something that he often kept private. The tragedy of losing his sister was something that shaped his family dynamics. It left an emotional scar that echoed through his upbringing. When Rick was a teenager, his family moved to San Diego, California. Until that time, he didn't have a close bond with his father. In fact, Rick has always been honest about the strict upbringing he received from his father. Growing up under the roof of a Navy veteran meant discipline was a central theme in Rick's household, and his father didn't tolerate disrespect or insubordination. In his teenage years, Rick, like many adolescents, tested boundaries with his parents. On one particular occasion, Rick recalls talking back to his father using foul language, an act that immediately crossed the line for the old man. The elder Harrison, known for his stern demeanor, responded by punching Rick. Though the confrontation might seem harsh by today's standards, Rick has shared that it was a part of his father's old-school approach to parenting. The old man believed in teaching respect and accountability, even if his methods were tough. Rick later acknowledged that while the punch was shocking, it served as a wake-up call and taught him a valuable lesson about respect, particularly within the family. In the early 1980s, the Harrison family relocated to Las Vegas, Nevada, seeking better prospects. Rick and his father co-founded the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop in 1988. While the business was initially modest, Rick's keen eye for valuable items and his personable nature helped it grow steadily. Decades later, the shop became the centerpiece of Pawn Stars, catapulting Rick and his family into international fame. No business is without its bad days. Rick also experienced that in 2012. At that time, he became embroiled in a legal dispute that brought negative attention to his business. The incident involved a lawsuit filed by Daniel Callahan, a Vietnam veteran, who claimed he was injured after being forcibly removed from the pawn shop. Daniel said that the confrontation began when he attempted to sell a rifle at the shop. He alleged that he became involved in a heated argument with staff and was subsequently placed in a chokehold by Rick and his father before being thrown out of the store. In retaliation, Daniel accused the Harrisons of causing him physical harm and emotional distress during the incident. He also demanded $20,000. However, Rick's son, Corey Harrison, disputed these allegations in an interview. Corey stated that neither Rick nor his grandfather were present during the altercation. Instead, Corey explained that the staff had to intervene when Daniel went ballistic while holding a weapon, creating a potentially dangerous situation for everyone in the store. Corey said that Daniel was screaming for the owner while the store was packed with around 4,000 customers. To handle the chaos, Corey defended the staff's decision to remove Daniel, suggesting it was done for the safety of everyone involved. The lawsuit brought bad publicity to the pawn shop, although it's unclear whether the case was ultimately settled or dismissed. Rick himself remained silent about the incident, leaving his son to address the claims publicly. To Rick, Richard was more than just a parent and business partner. He was a mentor and an anchor in his life. Richard's sharp wit, strict discipline, and no-nonsense approach to life and business were instrumental in shaping Rick's character and the success of the gold and silver pawn shop. Their bond was not just familial but deeply professional, forged through years of working side by side. In 2018, Rick faced one of the tragic chapters of his life when his father passed away due to complications from Parkinson's disease. The illness had slowly taken its toll on Richard's health, but his passing still felt sudden and devastating.
I think people want to know more about your family. Now, your father just passed away.
Yeah. My father was an amazing guy. 20 years in the Navy, great father. I had epilepsy when I was a kid. He did not treat me one bit different because of it. When I was 12 years old, it was 5:30 in the morning, Saturday morning, get out of bed, grab your nail bags. Because my dad would not buy apartments unless there was a condemned sticker on every door.
Rick was left to navigate not only the grief of losing his father, but also the responsibility of preserving his legacy. The void left by Richard was felt both personally and professionally. Fans of Pawn Stars mourned alongside Rick, as the dynamic father-son relationship had been a cornerstone of the show's appeal. For Rick, the absence of his father meant stepping into a larger role as the leader of both the family and the business. He often shares the lessons Richard imparted, striving to honor his memory while coping with the weight of such a profound loss. Just a few years after his father's death, Rick found himself embroiled in a painful legal battle with his mother, Joanne Harrison. Joanne filed a lawsuit against Rick, alleging that he had excluded her from various family businesses and trusts, including the Main Pawn Shop, G&S Pawn Shop, Harrison Properties, and Joe Rich. She claimed that Rick had reduced and eventually ceased the monthly payments she'd been receiving, which had been $25,000 per month until early 2020, and then reduced to $20,000 before stopping entirely in March 2020. Additionally, Joanne alleged that Rick had taken control of assets that she was entitled to, including a safe containing cash and silver, and that he had failed to provide documentation regarding the shop's finances. She also claimed that Rick had blocked her access to the family's trust, which had accumulated approximately $500,000 worth of silver and at least $100,000 in cash before her husband's death. In response to the lawsuit, Rick stated that he believed his mother was being manipulated by others for their personal gain. He denied the allegations and expressed his intention to defend himself against the claims. The case drew major public attention due to the family's prominence and the serious nature of the allegations involved. While Rick Harrison may have become a celebrity due to the success of Pawn Stars, he is, at heart, a businessman who sometimes struggles with the fame that he got. His rise to international recognition brought new opportunities but also major challenges, as managing a business in the public eye has made him a target for scrutiny and controversy. One of the most prominent issues Rick faces is criticism related to the pawn shop's dealings. Some former customers and viewers have claimed that certain deals on Pawn Stars were unfair or that items were undervalued for profit. Though most allegations are anecdotal and lack substantive evidence, the accusations contribute to a public perception battle that Rick has had to navigate carefully. Running a business that deals with negotiations, haggling, and appraisal of rare items often invites differing opinions on fairness, and Rick has acknowledged the difficulty of pleasing everyone. Rick's political views have also drawn significant attention. His public support for conservative causes has polarized his fan base. While some praise his outspokenness, others have criticized him for mixing politics with entertainment. He has remained unapologetic about his beliefs, but acknowledges that expressing political opinions can alienate some fans. Finally, the relentless nature of fame itself has impacted Rick's life. The constant presence of cameras and public interest in his personal matters has disturbed his privacy, making it challenging to balance his professional persona with his private self. In January 2024, Rick faced an unimaginable tragedy with the death of his son, Adam Harrison. Adam, who was 39 years old, passed away on January 19th due to a substance OD. The toxic combination of chemicals in his system was the official cause of death. This devastating loss came at a time when Rick was already dealing with personal and legal struggles, but nothing could prepare him for the grief of losing his son. Rick shared his heartbreak on Instagram with a touching post. Determined to channel his grief into action, Rick became a vocal advocate for substance awareness and prevention. Using his platform, he has worked tirelessly to shed light on the dangers of toxic chemicals and the urgent need for better resources to combat these situations. Rick's advocacy is both a tribute to his son's memory and a mission to prevent other families from experiencing similar heartbreak. Despite the immense pain, Rick has found strength in this work, turning a personal tragedy into a call for societal change. While Rick saw immense success in his professional life, his love life has been quite turbulent. The reality star has been married 3 times, but they all ended the same way. His first marriage was to Kimberly Harrison, with whom he had 2 children, Corey and Adam. The two married in the late 1980s, but after a decade together, their marriage ended in divorce in 2011. The reason for their split has never been fully disclosed, but like many marriages, it is likely the result of a combination of personal and professional pressures. Rick was heavily focused on building his pawnshop business and growing his media presence with Pawn Stars, while Kimberly may have felt neglected or strained by his busy schedule. The couple's divorce was amicable, and Rick continued to maintain a relationship with his children after the separation. After his first divorce, Rick remained active in the lives of his children, especially Corey, who would go on to appear alongside him on Pawn Stars. Rick's second marriage was to Tracy Harrison, whom he married in 2013. Their relationship seemed to begin on a positive note, but it too ended in divorce after just a few years. Details surrounding their split are largely private, but like his first marriage, it appeared to be impacted by Rick's demanding work schedule. After the divorce, Tracy Harrison remained out of the public eye, and the specifics of their separation were never fully disclosed to the media. However, Rick has often spoken about how the pain of his second divorce helped him to reevaluate his life and relationship choices, though the aftermath of his second divorce also left him with a sense of emotional exhaustion. Rick's third marriage was to Deanna, who became his wife in 2013. Their relationship seemed to start off strong. In fact, People magazine even published their wedding pictures exclusively. But unfortunately, it also ended in divorce. The details of their separation have not been made as public as his earlier marriages, but reports suggest that their relationship had its challenges. Rick and Deanna's divorce was finalized in 2020. The couple had no children together, which may have lessened the emotional turmoil of their split compared to his previous divorces. However, it was still a difficult experience for Rick.
Little bit of job here. I started buying and selling stuff. Basically educated myself. I'd always been buying and selling stuff. My dad had a little coin shop. I wanted a pawn shop. I went down to City Hall, and they told me, no, you can't get a pawn shop.
In Las Vegas.
In Las Vegas. And I asked them why, pulled out the city code, and they would issue one more pawn license.
The experiences of his marriages and divorces have likely contributed to Rick's evolution as a person, both in his personal life and his public persona. After enduring a series of personal and professional challenges, Rick has now chosen to focus on his well-being and embrace a new chapter in his life. The Pawn Stars icon recently shared glimpses of his happiness with his new partner, Angie Polushkin, a nurse based in Las Vegas. Rick and Angie met a few months ago, and their connection has quickly blossomed into a loving relationship. The couple recently traveled to Europe to celebrate Angie's birthday, capturing moments of joy in Paris, including sipping drinks in front of the Eiffel Tower and lighting birthday candles together. Their adventures have extended beyond Europe, with highlights such as a helicopter ride to the Grand Canyon, attending an Adele concert, and exploring London. Despite his personal losses, Rick has shown remarkable spirit, carrying on with the responsibilities of running the gold and silver pawn shop and continuing to entertain fans on Pawn Stars. Professionally, Rick remains as active as ever in the pawn industry. Pawn Stars will soon be airing its 23rd season, which will have interesting items like a limited edition Nike Raft and a Bricklin SV1. Rick's newfound relationship with Angie has brought him moments of light and joy during a challenging time. Their shared experiences signal a hopeful path forward as Rick balances his professional commitments with a renewed focus on his personal happiness.